right, well, good afternoon, everyone. This is our, gosh, Matt, we're already in July, man. Today's like what, July 15th, right? Like halfway through. So this is our Chat with the Chief session for the month of July. What we're going to do today is two sessions, one from 12 to 1. I actually got on here a little bit early, about a minute and a half early. That's a major achievement for me. And then we'll do another session tonight at 6, right? 6 this evening. Matt's with me this afternoon. He'll be making sure that we don't miss any comments. We'll do our best to go through everything, make sure we get all the comments right and responses too. And then, are you with me tonight, Matt, or is Kelly with me? So you're going to do both sessions. Perfect. So we'll do this again this evening. So concept here is just to have some conversation, share a little bit about what's going on in the department. We'll talk about our where we are currently with our crime. Violent crime specifically is always our top priority, and homicides and shootings and where we're at this year compared to where we were last year and where we're at on a bigger scale is really the last 3 to 5 years of where our numbers at. And we'll talk a little bit about data and driven by data, but also the things that we're trying to address. We'll talk about things that are currently going on in our organization and department, some of the things in the community that we're focusing on, and then we'll look at, give you a snapshot of what's upcoming. I've really got one really exciting thing to talk about. You know, this year we're really focused on training. We're always focused on new technology, but this year we're focused on really putting an emphasis on training and share a little bit of some of the training we have going on. And I just got a text from one of our lieutenants who's up in Boston for a 3-week training up there, and really he's got some good students with him and really enjoying it. So I think Lieutenant Morgan just got back, and Lieutenant Churchill's up there now. So interested to hear from them. I would ask, so I see Joy's on, and Joy, look, Joy, you act like I got some structure, like some opening that I say, because I usually ask someone that logs on to just let me know if the sound is okay and the visual is okay. So we tried something a little different with the light, so not too much shining off my head, I hope. It looked to me, from what I'm seeing, it looks good. But Joy sends in, good afternoon, see and hear good. So Joy, thank you. I didn't even have to put it out. It's like my partners in crime. Thank you very much. Ms. Cox, it's good to have you on board. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, both of you, for joining us this afternoon. I hope you both are doing well, families are doing well, and having a great summer. So just kind of like I was saying, we'll touch base a little bit on some different things, share some insight. And if you have any questions or thoughts, ideas, just discussion points, that's what I encourage people to ask. There's no one topic. It can be a wide variety. I may share with you an idea that myself and Ms. King have talked about a little bit. She'll probably get mad at me for letting the cat out of the bag. We're just going to float it. Maybe you guys will give us some feedback today on that idea. That always helps me, like getting as much input as we can before we make a decision. But I tell you, I want to start with this weekend. I got a call from a friend of mine. She's one of our young adult police commissioners, and she's graduated high school. Got to see her graduate, and she's up in college, right? So she's up. I won't give too much away. She's up in Richmond. Ms. Cox, she's up in Richmond, right? And she talked to me. She's like, Chief, I don't know. Might be homesick already. And I'm like, well, how long have you been there? And she's like, about 3 hours. So we had a really good conversation to check on her. Talked to her a couple of times. Just wanted to be safe, make some good decisions. Talked to me the other day, and oh my gosh, Matt, I didn't touch anything. One of the lights flickered. I didn't touch it. I didn't do it. We're going to keep rolling. But talked to her the other day, and she made some really good choices, and I was really proud of her. So, and was kind of humbled that she called and shared that with me. So, just want to know she's back home safe, and so that meant a lot to me. That's the relationship I think we build with our young people and some of the programs we have. The young adult police commissioners, the different camps that we have going on. We'll talk about some of those camps today. But I was Carrie. She'd been in our program for a while and just called me like, hey, I'm up here, and this is going on, and I decided to do that, and I'm back in my dorm safe, and it's just a really good decision. But I was humbled that she would take the time to call me, so that meant a lot to me. So let's start out with just touching a little bit about where the Newport News Police Department, where our city is on crime. And the reason I say our city is because, addressing crime is not just a police issue. the things that we respond to, so many things are issues in society, whether it's mental illness calls, whether it's issues of homelessness, drug addiction, sometimes of domestic situations, and we respond to those things. So I just want to share, talk a lot about kind of where we're at today with crime, and then some of the things that we're doing, and really a lot of thank yous I want to send out to officers and our partners. And Matt, please remind me, I want to talk about some executive leadership we had training yesterday. We had Colonel Hutchinson from Fort Eustis, and she just did an amazing job. Look, they're both going out on us, Matt. One flickers, the other one flickers. It's all right, though. That's what we do in police, where we just adapt and overcome and keep moving. Diane, thanks for being here today. I appreciate you being on board. Thank you. So right now, if the mayor called me or our city manager called me and asked, what is our violent crime reduction? I would tell him that if I had to report out to the FBI today that the city is sitting at a strong 9%, we're quickly approaching a 10% reduction in violent crime. Last year, in 2024, we had about the lowest number of homicides we've had in about 15 years, and the lowest number of shootings we've had. When I say shootings, non-fatal, so someone shot in the arm, the leg, non-fatal shootings that we've had in about 20 years. Now, just for content, in 2016, our city had 120 non-fatal shootings. 120 people suffered a non-fatal gunshot wound. 120 in 2016. In 2024, we had about 58. In 2024, we had 58. That's half, right, just under half of what we had back in 2016. So as we go through, and the year before that, we had about 78, 79 in 2023. Today, our shootings are the same number they were last year. That was a record low for us, and to come back and be it. Now, I know we're only halfway through. I don't know what can happen tonight or tomorrow, but our shooting numbers are exactly where they were this time last year, and last year was a record low. Our homicides, this time last year we had 9 homicides. So far this year we have 9 homicides. Again, we're going to talk about the reason, and we're going to talk about data, but I want to share with you. These are the numbers that I would have to report, the data that I would have to report to our mayor, or city manager, or city council, if you will, in the FBI. Of our 9 homicides that we've had, 6 of them are domestic related. 2 have happened in our city streets. Everything else has been inside a business or inside an apartment or residence, if you will. But of the 9, 8 of the 9 are solved, and we're making progress on the first. Now, so that means we've solved 8 homicides this year, or cleared 8 homicides, if you will. We've also cleared another 5, right? 8 and 5 is 13, right, Matt? 8, 9. So we have cleared a couple cold cases. We have cleared homicides that happened last year or the year before. So the FBI ranks, I shouldn't say ranks, the FBI sets the national clearance rate. And usually it's, we talk about clearance rate, the case that's been solved. The incident happened, arrest has been made. So the FBI will take that, doesn't matter what the department, how big, how small, sheriff's department, police across the country, and they rank the national clearance rate. So homicide clearance rate is right around 50%. But now they've also, this year they've added, we're going to do it also by city size, the first year that they've done that. So you have your smaller cities, your mid-sized cities, and your larger cities, right? Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit, New York, larger cities. Mid-sized cities is where we fall. And then, of course, you have your smaller jurisdictions. So I want to make sure our goal in our department is that we are above cities our size in our clearance rates. And we want to make sure that we're above the national average in our clearance rates. I want to tell you that as we sit today, we are above the national average in cities our size. Both categories were above every crime that is calculated, meaning homicide, robbery, rape, aggravated assault, which includes shooting. Shooting is not a standalone category, but shootings, we're going to talk about shootings in a minute. Burglaries, auto theft, larcenies, all of those things are calculated, and they're measured by each category. So that tells me a couple things. One, that we're in the right place, that we're putting the right focus where it needs to be, that our citizens are coming forward and sharing information, that we're staffed pretty adequately where we need to be in patrol and in our detective divisions. That our technology is help. All these things adding to us. I actually had a conversation with an assistant city manager, Mr. Clayton, earlier. It was either last night or this morning, and we talked about that. One of the big things, all those things I just laid out, and also our staffing. We're in a better staffing place today than we were in 2023, and I think that's paying off. And I really appreciate our city manager, city council. I appreciate our mayor allowing us to increase, and in fact, we increased by 12 positions. So not only are we filling our vacancies, but we've actually increased the size of the department. Our goal is in about the next 2 years to be at 500, and we just got 12 new positions starting July 1. So as of today, we're only about 25 positions short, and we're starting to fill the academy that will start in October. And if we fill that with 25 people, we'll be fully staffed. And that would put us around 484. And our goal, my goal is, and the city's goal is to get us to 500 within the next year, year and a half, 2 years, if you will. So the city's sitting about on a 9% strong 9% reduction in violent crime. The city is down for crime overall, but we're always going to focus on violent crime. And we're evened out last year with homicides, which was a record low, and we're even out with shootings. Now let's talk. We've talked about homicides on our clearance rates. I also want to talk about shootings. So a couple of colleges have done some studies for us. My friends up at VCU did a study a couple years ago. If you're clearing 25% of your shootings, you're like in the top 5%. Our clearance rates for shootings last year and this year is hovering right around 45 and 50%. So why does that matter? So we're talking non-fatal shootings. Why is it important to clear those? A lot of times those result in retaliation. So how quick we respond, how quick we identify a suspect, when we put a case together, when we work with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, that we're responding to a shooting the same as it was or if it were a homicide. So just a matter of inches or centimeters, right, could be the difference. So we're pouring the same resources. That's why then when we ask for forensic technicians, when we ask for additional detectives, that response, I believe, has played a key role in the quick arrests that are being made. We're almost clearing half of those shootings, and that has made a tremendous difference. I believe it's not just that, but it's one of the main key elements. We're focusing on the right locations, the right individuals, and a quick response, and all of those play into a plethora of resources we're going to talk about. Now, let me get caught up a little bit here, and then I want to go in. I want to talk about data and what I mean by data, but I want to get caught up. Well, hey, I appreciate that, my friend. Hope all is well. Hope you're having a good summer, and thanks for being with us today. Rhea, thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. Hope things are going good and you're enjoying your summer. And hey, Chief, just signed on. Did you come on fine? Have a good day, and thank you for all that you and your great team is doing. Be safe. Yeah, Anna, look, I shocked the world today. I came on like a minute and a half early, right? That's a real achievement for me, so I'm proud about that. Sandra, hello. Thank you for being with us today. I appreciate you joining in. Sarah, in the name of Christ, I pray the truth set me free. Sarah, I hope I see your text and our message. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good summer. Susan, hello, Chief. Hope you're well on this rainy day. Yeah, very true. Very true. Awesome job on your crime numbers. I came here from Chesterfield, and crime is currently high there. Well, Susan, I'll tell you, here's how I start my morning. I used to do a little, get up, do a devotional, read at least a couple chapters in the Bible, and then the next thing I'm doing is I'm looking at the news outlets around the Seven City area, but also up in Chesterfield, Richmond, and Rico, Hanover area. So I've seen a couple things happen in Chesterfield. Know the chief up there, a great department. Went up there to see a graduation earlier this summer. So crime, crime goes in waves. Things happen. One incident can change things. And that's why I say when I talk about data, I'm going to share that with you now. I want to be very, very, very clear. I know that those data points, it's not just data. I'm not just sitting in an office and crunching numbers. Those data points are people, right? They're families, they're neighborhoods, they're our communities. And I'm not taking anything away from that. I don't want to get on a soapbox with that, but I want everyone to understand that when you're out in a community and you're interacting with people, you realize that those data points are individuals. So I don't want anyone to think, well, there's been a homicide, that's just a data point. That's not. That's a person. That's a body. That's a lost life. But the reason I want to look at the data, and I want to know if it's increasing, decreasing, or if it's staying the same, is are our strategies working? So if I'm seeing a decrease in calls, a decrease in crime, hey, okay, our strategies are working, we want to double down on those. If we have a certain set of strategies and we're still seeing crime and calls, certain calls increase, then we got to go back and reevaluate. Look at it analytically. Do we need to change our focus? Do we need to change our particular strategy? Do we need to change location? Are we looking at the wrong group or the wrong individual? And that's one of the things that we had some training on yesterday, and I really want to talk about that. I was so impressed. But I don't want anyone to think, oh, it's just data. It's not. We study it. I look at it every Monday and every Thursday. But I know that those points are people, and I'll never lose track of that. When you do this job, invested in it, you don't lose track of that. I believe that's very, very important, at least for me. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit on the crime numbers and where we're at. While we're there, so I don't forget, I am going to talk about some training we had. So the Department of Criminal Justice, well, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Susan, I agree for the families that lost a dear friend to violence. Yeah, Susan, you could not. And I'll tell you, Susan, it does affect families. It also affects communities and neighborhoods. And it also affects the men and women who do this job. I have seen officers stay here 24 hours, and we have to tell them to go home because they're tracking down a lead or they're following something that they believe, or they're scrolling through information that's come through because they get connected to families that we serve and work with. So you're 1,000%. Why is it that PD now charges for funeral escorts even as retired officers who serve the city? So Todd, I will tell you, we can make some exceptions. There may be one or two that slip through, but I think if you look around at all the 7 cities, and we looked at that earlier about 4 years ago, that most departments do charge for funeral escorts. One of the problems we had is if we just pulled officers off the street, then I'm pulling officers out of communities and neighborhoods, and sometimes if calls for service are huge, I may not have an officer. So by doing an off-duty assignment, when we pull officers in on their day off, we need to compensate them for coming away from their families. I want to make sure that we do it the best job that we can, and I'm very, very careful about, well, do we do it for this and do it for that? I understand your point, and we've had these conversations, but I want to make sure that I'm not pulling officers away from your neighborhood or other neighborhoods and for escorts and different things, and then I'm leaving a neighborhood short of officers. People have court, people have training, and I just have to be careful of that. And most jurisdictions do charge for funeral escorts. Now, if we miss one because this individual was a retired officer, we can make exceptions for that. Sometimes they slip through. I try to stay up on that. So if we missed one, I put it on me, not anybody else put it on me. It's not intentional. But what I do want to make sure of is that we're not pulling resources off the street to do different things, and then we leave neighborhoods without an officer. I've got to make sure that we keep a substance there and a presence there. I think that's important. But your point's very well taken. So if we missed one, it'll be my fault, right? Put it on me, and certainly apologize to that family. Certainly want to make sure that people get their final resting place and honor that as best we can. But just to have people come in on their day off, I've got to make sure that we compensate them. Sarah, yes. Yeah, Sarah, I'm not ignoring you, but we've talked about that. I appreciate that. It's okay. And I just wish you the best. I think we'll leave it at that. Susan, yes, we still speak to the detective in our case, and has never forgotten about the family. Susan, I'm going to share with you. Skip, good to have you, buddy. I'm coming back to Susan. I want to talk about the homicide support group we have. Skip, hello from your favorite Suffolk police officer. Skip, hope you're doing well, my friend. Man, I miss you. Appreciate the work that you did in our city. Our citizens miss you. I will tell you, we had some training yesterday. I keep referring to it, so I can't wait to share with you. But the instructor was Colonel Hutchinson, right? And she's talking about leadership, strategic planning, accountability. And she said, oh, by the way, I was in the Hilton area, and I got stopped, and the officer was still not, and I would tell you half the class, and it was executive training, right? So captains and above, right? And half the class, like, it had to be Skip Blanchard. And she said, well, it was very, very nice, but we thought, your name popped up, Skip. I don't know why. We'll leave it at that, but I hope you're doing well. Antonio, I lost my son to violence. He was carjacked executed. Antonio, was that in our city? But I will tell you, it has an impact on people and community. So we have a group that meets once a month called the Homicide Support Group, and these are individuals, let's just say, that have lost loved ones to gun violence. In fact, the gun violence walk we did around City Center, what was that matter? Last month, right? They birthed that idea. So we've done that loud for the last couple of years, and individuals sit in a room with officers and detectives, victim witness from support from the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, our chaplains, and we just have a discussion. And there was a new member here last week, and she was really, really struggling. And to hear other family members who've lost loved ones talk about how to get through holidays, how to get through birthdays, how to have good days, that there's no blueprint, right? That there comes and goes, and something may trigger that thought, and that all of that's okay. And just to hear them talk about how they've been supported by the department, some frustrations they have, how they get through things, and I'm sitting and listening to some of the comments of family members and just the interaction they have with the department. And I was humbled. I was sitting by Captain Petrosky, and I was like, man, that mother's comments were so powerful. And it was just about life and about struggles and the relationship with the department and conversation. It was just so powerful. I wish I could play her comments to every officer in this department. She was appreciative and thankful, but she was also hurting, and talked about this meeting is where I come. I never want to miss this meeting. And she's not even from our city. It was just really, really powerful. So, yeah, like Antonio, you said it was in Philadelphia. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm not sure. I lost the negative. I'm not sure what you meant by negative, but negative. It didn't happen here. I got you. Thanks, brother. It was in Philadelphia. So, I'm sorry for your loss, but I will tell you, the meeting I sat through, it was just people who have gone through things, and it's powerful to see how someone has suffered, and they use their experience to help someone else. And it's a homicide detectives put that meeting on. We've been doing it a while, and I just think it's very beneficial. And I appreciate the detectives who take their time, forensic technicians and supervision, Captain Petrosky, Lieutenant Schmidt, the sergeants, just attending that meeting and having those conversations. I think is so powerful. It's a connection, right? It's a connection. Have you considered having retired officers, detectives come back and volunteer specific? Todd, that's not a bad idea. We talked about that. We did some auxiliary for a while. It didn't really work out for us. It's kind of faded out. And retired officers, they don't have to. They can. I want to make sure that we have stuff covered, but I'm not opposed to it. We have talked about retired officers doing traffic enforcement. We talked about some things that you're hit on there about funeral escorts. So it's not. I just want to make sure that we don't rely on it. Doesn't happen. Other departments have done it successful, and then I talked to other departments that have tried it and it hasn't worked. But I think there's a lot of room for it. And it's just got to be managed. Todd, right? You would know it's just got to be managed correctly. So it is something that we have looked at and had some conversation about. So that's a great point. It's a very good point. We need more. Yeah, I'm not going to get into the political thing, Mr. Santiago, but I hear you. And again, I am very, 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 very sorry for your loss. Annette, good afternoon, Chief. As always, thank you for all that you do. Ma'am, thank you so much. That means more to me than any award I could ever get. I care about people. It matters. Our community and neighborhoods matter. I think there's something different about our city. Not comparing us to anybody else. I just think that there is a relationship with our department and our community, from our mayor, city council, city manager, assistant city manager, schools, our hospitals, our Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA, police department, fire department, Commonwealth Attorney's Office. Those entities working together, and then the interaction, right? That we're going to be community based. And it has to be a foundation, I think, in policing today. When I talk to new chiefs, we always talk about if I give you any advice, crime will go up and down. Things happen. That's the world we live in. We're imperfect people. We're in an imperfect world. But building relationships helps you get through those things. Mr. Santiago, I hear you, my friend. Todd, to instruct officers not to do criminal. Yeah, Todd, again, you got some good points, man. We tried a little bit. We had auxiliary. And we weren't able to fill some things and commitments that we said we would do, kind of backed away from it. But I see some other departments that are bringing individuals back in a part-time basis to do different things, and there's certainly a place for it. As my friend Skip just talked about, he used to work with us, and now he's over in Suffolk. I tease him, but he's doing something like Todd, like you're kind of describing. So there's certainly a place. Antonio, thank you, my friend. And again, my heart goes out to you for your loss. We spent a lot of time this year in our department focusing on training. And one of the things I wanted to focus on is the leadership training as well. And like I said, we had Colonel Hutchinson from Fort Eustis come in, and we were with her for about 2.5, 3 hours yesterday, and she instructed, and then we just had some conversation, question and answer, and man, it was really, really powerful to see. Sometimes as officers we sit in the back of the room, right? But she did a great job interacting and speaking. I mean, she had instant credibility just with the title she holds and her position. And if you read her bio, I mean, oh my gosh, I'm like, man, that's amazing. So she was just a very dynamic speaker, but it was also she spoke from the heart. She didn't have a script that she read through. She spoke from the heart. She talked about challenges. She talked about mistakes that she had made in her career. She talked about what keeps her up at night. That was interesting to me. And things that she thinks about as we're both responsible for men and women who do this job and people. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed the class. I appreciate her. I can imagine how busy she is. Our assistant city manager, Bo Clayton, helped me make contact and get that set up. And it was just a really, really good training opportunity. I talked to some of the guys and gals that were in the class. They really enjoyed it. Individual I was sitting next to talked about how much that she got out of it. So I really appreciate her service to our country, being here at Fort Eustis, her friendship, and taking time out of her day to do some instruction. It meant a lot to me, and I appreciate that. Is it Lisa or did I miss one? Newport News Waterworks reminder and the heat. Oh, so is that from someone in Waterworks? So Newport News Waterworks. So yeah, we were going to talk a little bit about the heat. I was going to talk to you about, share with you the Juneteenth event and July 4th event, and I was going to bring up the heat and water there and then tie that into the summer. So I'm going to come back to that, but very, very true. Where are the children position? They go back up a little bit, right? First, thanks, Mayor, for helping with that. Yeah, Sarah, so let me just catch on that for a minute. Just stay with me for a minute, Sarah. What are the 12 new positions? So, yeah, so Sarah, we got some new positions because our department's been growing. I needed some help with leadership to make sure I don't have one person supervising so many. I make sure that's span of control. But we wanted to do some things in Central Precinct, areas in City Center that we want to pay some attention to. And then because we're doing some things with the hospital, actually assigning officers to the hospital, things I've had to pull things from different locations, and now trying to put some of that stuff back. Making sure that our shifts are staffed adequately, that we have enough officers to respond to calls for service. I want to make sure that when a call comes in, that we're getting there within a 3 to 4 minute time frame. High priority calls, right? Not like barking dog, but I want to make sure that we're able to respond, that we're making sure officers are safe. And when we have officers, you got to remember, we're just like society, right? We have police officers here that are in the military, they get deployed. Individuals get injured. There's administrative leave. Officers get family leave, right? Pregnancies, new mothers, new fathers. So making sure that we have enough to keep things moving. And one thing I would tie into that, Lisa, thank you for joining us. One thing I would tie into that is we just had 2 huge events, right? We had the Juneteenth celebration, and we had July 4th. And we pulled about 100 officers, again, Todd, like that were off, that had to come in and make sure the traffic flow, work the event, make sure people were safe. And those were some hot days. I don't know. I mean, they were great events. Don't get me wrong. The fireworks were amazing. The band, the music was amazing. Juneteenth, we had great entertainment. We had large crowds at both events. I believe they were both successful. Their interaction I had with citizens was very, very positive. Even one of our council members talked about how the police interacted with the community, and she thought that made a big difference, as do I. People just, man, we got people out of there in about 30 minutes. Traffic seemed to move. There might have been some hiccups. We didn't have any injuries. Now, we did have some people that got a little overheated and might have dropped. I don't know if they passed out, but certainly set down at least, right? But the fire department was great. Officers were great. And it ties into, this is a hot summer. I walked out today and was like, my gosh, I think I lost just 3 pounds walking from the front door to the car. Um, so please make sure, right, that we stay hydrated. Um, Share that with the officers. Make sure that you have water, you're drinking water, but also our community, right? Make sure you stay hydrated. And you know, we've seen some rain here recently. It came pretty hard. Last night I got stuck in a little bit of rain going home, and you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with those families who've lost loved ones, those that are doing rescue action in Texas. I mean, how quick that water level rose. I think our Newport News Fire Department just went down to help out, to assist. My partner, Chief Rogers, does an amazing job, and I just wish them all the safety in the world. And heart and prayers go out to those families who's lost loved ones, and property and damage there. I just can't imagine. So, but I do think they're resilient. But yeah, I would be remiss. I saw a little bit of that on the news. We're expecting to get some more rain in Texas, and man, it's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe. Lisa, again, thanks for being here. And that we are different because of being involved in the show. Antoinette, don't try to get me choked up on here. I appreciate that. You know, for me, you know, when you do this for 33 years, you realize more and more that what's the most important is people, and having those interactions. Sometimes we have to make hard decisions, right? Whether it's domestic or if you issue a ticket, but matter of fact, and I'll tell you right now, you all get this for free. I've got an email. It's about a page long of from a citizen, and they signed it, talking about they had 2 interactions with police officers. One, they got pulled over and got a ticket, and they named the officer who wrote them the ticket and said, although I didn't like getting the ticket and I don't like paying the fine, it said it was a positive interaction, that the officer was professional, that a female officer talked to them. It was just very, very pleasant. And he said that he even drove off feeling like, wow, that was a different experience. Now, all of the experiences are not like that, but someone sat down and took the time to write about a page email to me. So that tells me it was impactful. They went on to say that they had a second interactions where officers were very, very helpful, and he said, I just would be remiss if I didn't send this in. And it was touching. So it'll probably be in our newsletter we do every Friday, thanking officers. I think that's important. But how he felt about that traffic stop, and that's good to hear. We certainly hear about the ones that don't go well. It was very, very nice and rewarding to hear about one that made an impact on someone's life. New technology. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Sarah said the lighting's good. Sarah, thank you, because I'm telling you, we struggle with the lighting about every week. So they got some new things going on here, and yeah, usually it like bounces off my head, I'm glowing, I'm like, yeah. So I appreciate that. So some of the new technology, that's one of the things that's on the board I want to talk about when we talk about training. I'm going to stay here just for a second, and I'm going to hit the rest of the comments. We just got a new virtual system. So what is that, right? And other departments have it. We're not the first to have it. It's the first time we've had it in our city. So it's a 5 or 6 screen. You walk into this platform and you're surrounded with screens, and scenarios pop up, and you can do 1 officer, 2 officers, up to 4 officers at one time. So if you're clearing a residence or you're interacting. So I went through a few scenarios just the other day with Officer Call and Officer Hanran, and they had an individual who got out of a pickup truck and he started yelling. And he went back into the truck and got out an American flag, and he went back in and was in for a little while, and then he came out with a firearm. And they can change the scenarios, right? And they're measuring how do I talk into this individual? Did I de-escalate? Did I have to use deadly force? Was I able to make be accurate? Did I use my words? Did I position myself? And that's a game changer for us. Now, some people will say this is like a video game. Okay. If you put your hand on someone's heart after they come out of there, and you feel that heart beating at an accelerated rate, it's not a video game. I'm not going to put officers in situations where they can really get shot, but it's learning and it's thinking. And there's all kinds of training. There's hands-on training where we have role players with ammunition and guns that are not real bullets, right? That shoot fake rubber balls or paint dots, whatever. We can put headsets on and run somebody through quick scenarios after roll call. You send somebody into this virtual training now, and you have to watch different screens, just like you were. There was one on the card broke down, and an individual was upset and frustrated. It just measures a lot of different things. We're going to use that for our recruits. We're going to use that for officers and in-service. We're going to use that for chiefs and command staff. We're also going to use it for community. We have our Citizens Academy. I want them to see situations that officers deal with. We're going to use that for, I'm going to offer it to faith leaders if they would like to come in. Sometimes people will say, why didn't you just shoot them in the hand or the pinky toe, right? I want to show you how hard that is. The system will also track where your rounds go. An officer is responsible for every round that's fired. So if we have an individual that's at a playground and presenting a deadly threat, but there's a elementary school behind that playground, we might want to change our angle to try to move that individual, right? We're thinking about those things. So it's going to, I think it's great. It just got set up. We put out, Kelly, I think, Matt, you and Kelly put out a release talking about it. I'm going to offer it to City Council. One of our city managers has already talked about it. Would like to come and go through it. He might do that on Friday. But I'm excited. And that's going to be a game changer for us. We're going to use that a lot. Real life scenarios, how do we de-escalate, showing what officers go through. We actually are now going to create a goal of how many citizens we want to put through that program in the next 12 months. And just to share what it's like in some of the scenarios that officers have put in. Lisa, you're doing a great job. Lisa, thank you. I'll tell you, I carry the title of chief here, but all the credit goes to the men and women who do this job day in and day out. From the brand new recruits that graduate to the officers that are on the street, been doing this job 4 and 5 years, from our detectives, officers that have been here 20 plus years that still stay here and still committed to this city. The sergeants and lieutenants on the street, they deserve all the credit. When things go wrong, I'll take the blame for that. But the good things that are going on at community interaction, I give all the credit to them. They certainly deserve it. They come out and work in these hard conditions and long days. On their days off, they come away from their families, and I don't take that for granted. People who are willing to make, God forbid, possibly make the ultimate sacrifice for other families to keep them safe. I hold them extremely, extremely high regard for the stuff that they do. So I appreciate that. Tina, good afternoon, Chief. Thank you for these Tina, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Tina, I hope you stay, because I'm going to reveal something. I'm probably going to get in trouble for revealing it, but it's just a concept. I'd love to have some input. Susan, I appreciate you thoughts about Texas. Lisa, when is Ken Doll coming out of that beautiful media? Wait, when is the Ken Doll coming out? Oh, she's making fun of the action figure. I'll tell you, Lisa, we did some projections with media on how many would sell, and I think we bought 200, Matt, and I still got 200. Yeah, there's not a big demand. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, some of the things we try to do to have a little bit of fun, and I saw some other officers create some and putting a poster up with themselves, and I saw Watkins and Chandler were down in recruiting. Sergeant Millette did one as well, and I'm way down the toy company has not called yet, but I appreciate that. Maybe one day there'll be a collector's item of one, right? For the police presence at the Stars and Sky event at Victory Landing, that was the, that's where we had Juneteenth and 4th of July, but I think you're talking 4th of July, was excellent. Also the traffic. Wow. Mr. Is it McCall, right? McFall. So I will tell you, Ford, I appreciate that. We debriefed about that. We talked about the traffic plan, getting people in, getting people out. I think the park was clear in about 30 to 40 minutes. It was hot, and the people were there. We're having good interaction. We're cutting up a little bit, teasing each other, and I think there were some photos of officers dancing. Some of us really struggled, right? But we got to take some pictures with family and giving some high five to kids, giving out some stickers. It was just a good event. And the city did a great job, and I really appreciate that. It goes a long way. And so the people who came in on their day off, away from their families to work about 8 hours, for you to send a text, a message like that, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. Robin, my friend. Good afternoon, Chief. Good to see you. Thank you again thank you. I appreciate. Robin, thank you. I hope you're doing well and hope you're having a great summer. Is it Carrie? Mm-hmm. Carrie, I appreciate you hosting these chats. Carrie, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking time. Look, I know we're all busy. You could be doing 100 different things. But in the hot summer, maybe with the rain, a little bit of rain coming down, spend a little time with me this afternoon, back maybe this evening. But I know life's hectic, so for anybody who takes the time to join in, I really appreciate it. Joy, 4th of July celebration was the bomb. I go every year, and this year I got out the fastest yet. I came north, so very hard to get to the right lane before Boulevard. Joy, Joy. It sounds like you're adapting every year. You're getting better and better, and I really appreciate that. When we work with planning and city manager goes over and over and over the plan, and the mayor calls you like, "All right, chief, are we good?" To see comments like that, I mean, for you to take the time, I appreciate that. That means a lot. And it was a great event, right? The fireworks were fantastic. So, Joy, I'll tell you, I looked out. So, not to give anything away, right? But we want to make sure that we have officers that can respond to something. If it happens on the water, if they would have to come in from the left or right side, just because the right being safe. And I looked out, and on our police boat, I had one of the city managers riding around on the boat with some of our officers there. And I'm pretty sure the mayor was out there with the fire guys on the fireboat. So we certainly had some things covered. People had a great time, and it was just a really, really, really good event. Sarah, thank you. That simulator, I think, is going to be a game changer for us, and we're just trying to do how do we do things better. So I appreciate that. Lisa, pretty cool that you are up to date with other police departments throughout the U.S. Scroll up just a minute for that. My fault. Police departments, criminal justice class now, and talking about the technology with others. It's awesome to keep it up. Lisa, I appreciate that. I think all of us learn from each other. I just had a great conversation with Chief Newdigate yesterday. I talked to Chief Wyman, Chief Talbot, my friend Chief Jenkins over in Portsmouth, Chief Bowie, my friend. He's got a great family. I know Chief Edwards, of course, up in Richmond. All of us learn and talk to each other. What's working? What have you tried? Have you tried this technology? Have you tried this training? What about this seminar? Hey, how about this new piece of technology that we might try? So I think that's important, but also not just here, right? What's going on around the country? What are we seeing and trying to stay ahead of the game? In a lot of our training, we will send officers out, and we certainly have departments that come here and look at some of the things that we have, whether the license plate readers or drones. We're trying to implement a drone as a first responder to go to high priority calls, right? For safety issues, keep our community safe, get officers there quicker, and officers to know what they're responding to. So yeah, I think that's important to stay up to date on different things going on and people that are trying new ideas and new things. Josh, FAST technology has been around for a while. Glad to see it still. Yeah, Josh, I remember my time at my last agency. We had FAST. It was one screen. Now the different scenarios are much more complex with the 5 or 6 screens that we have and multiple people. Technology, as you know, right? Technology just keeps advancing, and it's doing great. Now headsets that put you in, and I had a headset on the other day. The training guys hooked me up, and it was just practicing on utilizing the taser. And after you go through the scenarios, it gives you a digital readout. So you got this like virtual mask on, right? But it gives you a readout. This is how long it took you to respond. This was your accuracy rate. Blah blah blah. It's phenomenal. We didn't have that stuff when I started. I can tell you that. But again, it just continues to develop and get better and better and better. Sarah, yeah. So we talked about new recruits, officers that are doing the job, but also opening up to civilians. I want them to be able to experience that if they would like to. Ms. Jones, just wondering, do you do foot or bike patrols anymore in neighborhoods? So, Bernie, that's a great question. We just bought, about a year and a half ago, we bought 18 new bikes. We put 6 in each precinct. They're staffed pretty well. The last 2 weekends in City Center, we get some juveniles that come out in City Center on Saturday nights that we have started using bike officers there. South Precinct and North Precinct both. I have seen them deploy bike units, Central Precinct as well. I was up in North Precinct just the other day and I saw all the new bikes. We've used them at the July 4th event. We used them at Juneteenth. And putting them out in neighborhoods is a fantastic idea. I think it gives some officers able to stop, interact a little bit. So the answer is yes. Would I like to use them more? Absolutely. If officers are watching and, hey, Chief, can we get on? Yes. And I've still got to make sure that we're in vehicles that can respond to calls where we need to. But on special events, special assignments, I think bike patrols are fantastic, and I think it allows us to have some more interaction. So that's a great point. Joy, that got cones up, and unless you get to the right of them, you talk about the traffic again getting out. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm telling you, they work really, really hard to go through that traffic plan. They try to tweak it and get better and better. And Captain Franklin, Lieutenant Johnson, they do a great job with their department of planning. So we're managing the crowd, people coming in, people getting out. How do we get safety? We interjected a rail system, which puts a pathway in. I think that allows us to have more free movement and get to people who may need interaction or need help. And it allows for people to move back and forth a little easier as opposed to trying to walk around and over people. So I was very, very appreciative. I thought it went really, really, really well. We talked about Juneteenth. We talked about 4th of July. Over our summer, we currently, the partnerships we have this summer, we started in May, June, July, and August. We have a partnership with the state police. So we have some state troopers that are working with us these 4 months through the summer. We embed them with our narcotics division and also our street teams that are in each precinct. It's just an added asset. So if you see a few state troopers rolling through our city, they are working with us. That is a relationship we have with the state police. They are fantastic partners. Several other jurisdictions in the state have somewhat similar, but we embed them with our narcotics side of the house and our street teams, and we have them focus on areas and individuals linked up with Newport News officers in the car with them, working together. And it's been very, very beneficial. They bring an additional resource. They bring additional equipment that can be used, different databases. And it's just a great partnership. We've done it the last 3 years, and I think it paid off tremendously last year, and we're seeing great results this year. I'm at some point, the mayor and I will share results from over the summer, but I tell you, he checks on them regularly. That's a good conversation to have. I appreciate how much he's linked in, focuses on crime and violence and youth. So those are the type of conversations we talk about a lot. And I report to him so far, halfway through the summer, right? We're halfway through July. God has blessed us with a fantastic summer months, summer weeks. And I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I know what's happened so far. We had a very good summer. And I think that's the different resources, the strategies, our focus, our deployment, our staffing, prayers that we get from the community, our faith leaders who call and just say, Chief, we're praying for you in the department, praying for our city. I believe in all of that, and I think that's been very, very helpful. And I think that shows people that are very, very invested and interested in what goes on. Who did I leave off? Ford, right? The corridor on the grass was an excellent idea. Talking about the 4th again. Yeah, I'll tell you, my friend, that we tried to tweak that, and we did it for the Juneteenth event, and I think it was our assistant city manager, Bill Clayton, said we're going to do that from now on. That just gave us quick access in and out. Officers could move, God forbid, if there was something to happen. That were embedded in the crowd. But we also had aerial views and response teams all around that if we needed, we could deploy. But yeah, that's great that you picked that up. Who's that? Hey, what's going on, Chief? Oh, okay. Yeah, look, glad you joined us. Listening. I'm glad you joined us. We're just doing our chat with the Chief and having some conversation with our community, sharing some updates on what we have, and then we'll be doing it again tonight at 6 this evening. Chief Jenkins does a lot of additional things to secure the community. When I was the executive director, assistant, and liaison to the Board of Commissioners in Portsmouth, I was impressed by Chief Jenkins and Mr. Bland's additional security measures. I'll tell you, sir, Chief Jenkins is a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, we host, myself and Chief Jenkins, are responsible for the Hampton Roads Chiefs of Police Association. I was texting with him just maybe 2 days ago, just talking about different things going on, how he's doing, how things are going here. Does a great job, and he's just really, really good people, and better yet, he's a friend. So I would agree with you 100%. I think he's doing a great job in Portsmouth. Kayla, well, how are you? I don't know how long you've been on, Kayla, but I was talking earlier that I got a call from a friend of mine who told me they were homesick after about 3 or 4 hours. So I didn't mention any names, and I'm still not, but I hope you're doing well, and I hope things are going good in college. and I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. Matt, what did I miss here? We talked about leadership training, kids in college. We talked about that. We talked about our clearance rate partnership with the state. And we talked about VirTra. Two things I want to talk. We talked about some of our clearance rates we hit on. We have a lot of summer programs. We've had a couple youth camps already. We'll have a drone camp this summer. We'll also have a Virginia Rules camp is going on. That's just officers or school resource officers. Some are working with summer school, some are embedded in patrol, and some are helping out with the camps that we have. I think that's beneficial. I think building those relationships, especially with young people, go a long, long, long way. And it's been, and when one of those students graduates high school and they still stay in contact with you and they let you know how their grades are and things that are going on in life, it's just, man, that's exciting to me. So I appreciate Kayla and others that stay in contact, and I am glad, although you still might get a little homesick, I'm proud of you up there in college, and I'm interested to hear about those grades, by the way. I forgot about that, the grades, right? So, Alvin, hey, Chief, good to see you. Alvin, my friend, thanks for being here, my friend. I appreciate that. So we have a pretty special day here on Friday, right, Matt? We have an individual. You do 25 plus years anywhere. I think that's 30. That's dedication. 35 years in a police department, serving one city. That is unheard of. You don't see a lot of that. Doesn't happen yet, but you don't see a lot of it. And this Friday, we're going to recognize my friend and a fantastic officer, left a lot of footprints on the city and this department. But Captain Morgan Tegens announced his retirement. His last assignment was the captain of our communications, our 911 center. No bigger advocate for this city, officers, civilians, you name it. He cares tremendously about people. I've learned so much from him. I don't know an officer on this department who doesn't know him, or individuals in our city. He was the host of our podcast, Running Code. We brokered a deal. It cost me 2 handshakes and an Italian dinner. But he's going to stay and do the podcast for us and come back out of his retirement to continue those conversations. I look forward for finding out, Melissa, you got to probe him a little bit and see what he's doing now in his next life. But sat in my office, had a conversation with Morgan, and felt it was the right time. Spending time with his family is very, very important to him. His mom and dad, I've got to meet them. We broke bread together. I'm just so happy for him. But we have his retirement ceremony on Friday. What is it, 1 o'clock? So I'm sure there'll be some good stories, some heartfelt. We recognized him at our last academy graduation about a month ago, and it was just, wasn't trying to embarrass him, just wanted to show tremendous respect for him. And I hope he received that. I know the audience certainly poured out some emotion to him. So that retirement is coming up on Friday. Look forward to seeing my friend again and spending some time with him. But like I said, he's going to come back and do the podcast. He ain't going that far, right? He ain't going that far. Okay, all right, Robin. Hey, Matt, thank you for your service. Hey, Robin, thank you. Matt's keeping look. Some of the lights blink, and you should see him. Like he's like, Chief, what'd you do? I'm like, he make his eyebrows go together, makes his face at me. I'm like, I didn't touch nothing, and somehow he does some magic and fixes it. So. He's helping me out, and again, we'll be back. We'll be back tonight. Joy, congrats, Tegens. Yeah, Morgan, I will tell you, he is a character. Chief Creswell gives him a hard time, but I just say there is not an officer that I have ever met with a bigger heart than Captain Morgan Tegens. He cares about people. It's very, very important to him that we're doing the right thing. And like I said, I've learned a lot from him. I enjoyed the conversations in the boardroom and in the parking lot. He's my friend. Just want to take a minute, and while we're here, I want to thank the men and women who do this job day in and day out, sworn and civilian both, from our dispatchers. We're getting ready to have another dispatcher academy. Our folks that work down in records and are out with the public every day. Our detectives, our investigators, patrolmen that work around the clock while we're all home sleeping. Just the job they do, the interaction. The detective side of the house, solving cases that happen, officers and detectives. The proactive side, preventing cases, removing illegal guns and narcotics from our streets. patrolling our neighborhoods. I'm just thankful. And to be part of that, I was telling my mom and dad the other day, I'm just very, very humbled to work with such great people. This profession, you do not do this job to get rich. You do this job out of a heart for service. And it is not for everyone. I was just over, I got to talk to our new class that just started about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. We got to have some conversation. It's a great class of 19. And then we've got a smaller class that's going to graduate in October. And we've had conversations with both. But it is a calling. This job is not for everyone. You respond and people see things I wish they never had to see. But to do that and to get up the next day and come right back at it and do it again. So that's why when you hear me say, like, boy, that comment means a lot, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Those comments mean a lot. Yeah, like Ms. Banks, thanks to you and your staff and all that you do to keep us safe. That matters to people. You know, it's not about the plaques that put on the wall. Recognition is nice, but comments are like that from citizens make all the difference. Some high school student says, thank you. When I'm at Friday night nets and talk to the young people, whether it's in Denby, at the community center, or at Achievable Dreams at the basketball courts, and they come up and high-five you or say hello to you when you walk in, right? Shake your hand, tell you about what they're doing over the summer. That matters. And officers to spend time doing that matters. That's why we go to football games and sporting events. That's why we go to each high school graduation. Those things matter. And building relationships, right? That's 21st century policing. That matters. And we got to teach more of that. We got to emphasize more of that. There's some that get it and it come natural, and there's some that it's awkward. It's not always been a part of policing, right? And as we evolve and do better, but it has to be part of the fabric that we do here. Matt, what do you think? Did pretty good on time? I appreciate everybody that tuned in today, asking questions. Todd, ideas, comments. I appreciate that. One of the things coming up, we have an environmental officer in the South Precinct, Don Grayhouse, and we have an environmental officer in the North Precinct, Officer Jenkins. They do a phenomenal job addressing blight, working with homelessness. We do not have one in the Central Precinct, but I hope by the end of July we have that position in place. I've talked with Captain Bradley a few times. We've got a couple officers that are returning and coming back, and I would very much, if we could hold that, I'd very much like to get that position in Central. I think it makes a big difference in doing some different things, attacking issues in a different way. I'm thankful for our partnership. Thankful for Police Foundation, all the work that they do, support that we get from the city, this community. Again, a relationship that we have with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the school's right around the corner. Once we get into August, man, we're going to be rolling back into the after-school or back-to-school programs, right, and getting out and interacting with a lot of those drives. Our academy classes, the fire department, churches, or faith leaders, young people, Riverside Hospital, Centera, the relationships we have there is just very immaculate. They're huge, and they make us better. So I'm thankful. Again, thankful. Thank you for those that joined us today. Had some good conversations. We'll do this again tonight at 6 p.m. And just appreciate you all. Officers, please take care. Look out for one another and be safe. God bless.